So, my name is Wayne Madden. I'm the studio manager for New Enterprise Studios in Sunderland. New Enterprise Studios is a creative hub. And what that means is we specialize in a number of creative arts industries, including but not limited to photography, videography, production, multimedia design, prop building, etc. As well as that, because we are a physical premises here in Sunderland, we also offer a number of accompanying services, if you like, complementing services. And that includes things like studio hire, equipment rental, again, the construction and building of props, the sourcing of props, the sourcing of actors, script consultation, photographic regeneration. And as well as that, we also offer our services off-site and on-site. So if, for example, you have an event and you need to hire people, you can both hire the equipment and you can also hire us. I was going to say it sounds a bit like the A-team. If you can find us, then you should hire the NES team, which is exactly what you should be doing. And we also do, on top of that, if we weren't busy enough already, we do wedding videography and photography packages as well. So we specialize in those. But we do a number of events. So a couple of recent examples, we went to Newcastle to film with the Time Theatre Opera House, and we filmed an event there for a client. We also filmed a music video on the streets and in buildings of Sunderland city centre. We've done filming in Hartlepool Marina for a feature film. And we've created a number of projects of different length of everything, as I say, from music videos, short films, documentary projects, features, horrors, thrillers, romance, you name it. We've pretty much done it or worked on it for a client. And we also hold free events for members of the public. So things like film screenings and things like writers' rooms, where people from Sunderland and further afield from the northeast and then nationally can come and get involved, receive free advice, network with other creatives and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, New Enterprise Studios, just as a whole, I suppose it's important to say, works with people from a broad range of spectrum of experience and lack thereof. So it doesn't really matter, in a sense, when you come to us, whether you have won awards for the work that you've done or whether this is literally the first time that you've ever seen a video camera. And in that respect, you may be someone who is old enough to still call it a video camera, or you may be someone who's never used one and who just does everything online in real time. So again, there's no discrimination, background, age, etc., and indeed level of experience. So in that respect, some of the things that we've done, working with different organizations like Northeast Autism, we've organized placements. So we will get people coming to us who would like to learn a bit about the industry, whether that be to improve their social skills or their own background skills, to give them an idea, is the creative arts something that I'd like to pursue a career in? And if it is, what kind of area, if any, would I like to specialize in? And that's something that we can do because we have so many different remits under one roof, and we can offer a wide variety of things that they can do with us. And they can sort of sample it like an a la carte menu where they can pick what they want, or when they come to us, they can say, I just want to do everything. And then over the course of a few days, that we might find areas that they particularly like or want to focus more on, as you would expect. Other organisations that we've worked with include Northumbria Uni, for example. And in that case, we have taken people who are current students at various levels, whether they be in first or final year, whether they be undergraduate or postgraduate, and we've worked with them on projects. So either they have come to us and said, I have a student project, I'd like to film you and interview you, or I'd like to use your premises to film part of this, or whether they've come to us and said, I physically have to be out in the real world, working for a production company, working with a creative hub, can you help me? And the answer is yes, we can. And so in those cases, again, depending on their area or expertise or lack thereof, we give them a wide variety. So we try and help everyone. And it's not necessarily treating everyone like an idiot, but when they walk in, treat them as if they don't know anything. And obviously, if they suddenly say, well, actually, I know this, great, do you want to, learn that next step and whatnot? And it's just about trying to give as many people as possible bridges. Now, the other thing that we've done with that, which has been even just as rewarding really as the work we've done with universities and organizations, is that there have been individuals who have approached us completely at random. So people perhaps, there was a gentleman whose son had autism, and he was looking on social media for something that his son might be interested in, had found our company and approached us on a very individual level and said, would you offer my son a tour? And, if he wanted to come and do some placement work with you, would you facilitate that? And again, that is something that we've made open to happen, so the idea is that we try and work with as many people as possible. We just try and help wherever possible in terms of collaboration. And this leads back to some of the other work that we've done for film festivals. So one example would be the Northern Film of Cinema, which was at the Star and Shadow in Newcastle very recently. And then last year, the Northeast International Film Festival. Now, there were different things that we did with each of those festivals depending on their needs. But ultimately, it led to us doing some talks on collaboration, going in, meeting the festival organizers, working with them to help them as best we could, working with the venues to be as collaborative as possible, and just doing everything we could to give a helping hand to people who were either starting out or who were at different levels of experience. So the people, for example, who organised the Northeast International Film Festival had many years of experience within the filming industry. This was the first festival they'd ever done. So it was a sort of a blank level for them to begin at working from somewhere new. And it was great to be able to help and collaborate with them and give them the benefit of our experience and also learn from them in the process as well. It's quite a varied it's quite a varied and a very interesting company to work for. So there are many projects that will happen that effectively we or I personally will have very little involvement with. And some examples for that would include like studio hire. So if a client comes into this building, we wouldn't necessarily work on their project if that's not something that they request. One example is a client from further south in Sheffield recently came to visit us, and they hired the studio to create a commercial for one of their clients. That was something that we will have nothing to do with, except for the fact that we were able to facilitate our space. And so when they came in, it was very exciting to see things like that happen. Likewise, we've had conversations with things like BBC's Strictly Come Dancing. We've had conversations with Netflix about coming in. And the idea would be that if they were here, it wouldn't be something we'd be working on, but it'd be very exciting to see something like that happening under our roof, both because we're able to facilitate it, but also because it brings more of that high-class production to the region of Sunderland, to the Northeast generally, and creates more collaboration and hopefully more possibilities for the local people or the locally based people who will work on that. There is a couple of projects that we're working on. There's a documentary project about the forthcoming second year of a music competition that we ran initially over the pandemic to try and help people release that music that was unheard. So there's a sort of a behind the scenes documentary that's been quite exciting that we're working on. There's another documentary feature about social media and our relationship with the internet, and particularly where death and the internet and our relationship with that comes into play, and the whole idea of someone's digital footprint and what happens. And there's also some kind of radio projects that we're working on, one in particular about video gaming that I hope to finally be able to start moving to a new level. And then potentially there's another short film which I might actually be looking to co-direct, which will be the first time that I've ever done anything like that myself. So that's something that I've been very engaged with recently, that I've wanted to get more involved with, and sort of trying to put myself more in the firing line, as it were, so that other people can come in and shout at me and then beat me when I do things wrong. But it's, stuff like that, just trying to do as much as I can to get involved. Many exciting projects, though. I know I mentioned before that the guys went to Hartlepool Marina to film there. That was a project that was very passionate to them. They worked for many months. It's all I will say is it's a fan fiction movie, but it takes it to another level. It's a very passionate fan film, and it's something they've put a lot of time and effort into, and various locations across the Northeast, including New Enterprise Studios. And that's something I'm very exciting to see. And one project in particular I must mention as well. We had a gentleman called Lee McShane who came to us a long time ago with a very basic concept for a film. And he wanted to make this movie ultimately. And the guys went through from conception to finished product, how you would get the funding for such a movie, what would be the right way to go about it, you know, sourcing the actors, citing the locations, what props needed to be built, putting together a call sheet, a production schedule, etc. And Lee was able to go off with that advice to get full funding for the movie, and was then able to come back and have New Enterprise Studios and Dead Real Films, which is the sister company, work on him with that to create that movie. And that's currently in post-production and should be released very soon. That's called Dark Forest, and that's something that I'm excited to see, because it is a very special example of the first project that has been completely under the roof of New Enterprise Studios and Dead Real. So it's gone under that entire conveyor belt, if you like, which is marvelous, to be honest. Yeah. So you can find us on a wide variety of social media. As you probably guessed, it's the name of the game these days. Everything from I suppose what you might call the big three: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are indeed also on other websites such as TikTok, such as Nextdoor, such as Linktree. And indeed, we've also got little footprints around there. We've got our own website, of course, at newenterprisestudios.com. And you will also find more information about us in different bits and pieces, like, for example, Film Freeway, when we launch competitions. And there'll be a few other things dotted around, but we have a nice social media footprint that tries to incorporate as much of what we do as possible. I always try, where possible, to put as much visual medium up to give people an idea week by week. And it's served very well that the entire social media works as a kind of a documentary in itself, a chronicle of the life of New Enterprise Studios and what we've been able to achieve. And the longer that's gone on, the more delighted I've been to see us build up this legacy and timeline of our own, especially as we're helping and collaborating with so many people.